The second month, I get a call from Snapchat, and I have a video of it, and that's when they told me I won money.
How much money did you win from Spotlight?
I won $995,000.
Welcome back to 25 Months. I'm Tejas, Hullur, and I'm with my co-host here, Mr. Jack Neel. And today, as you can expect, I'm assuming from the thumbnail, that we have a really interesting guest here, Mr. Dominic Andre.
What's going on?
So to me, you're a TikTok content creator who does a whole bunch of stuff. I know you as the science guy, but the best way to put it is that you go viral creating content that ranges from horror to comedy.
What's that smell? Mother...
You're also a Snapchat Spotlight winner, winning I don't know how much, but I'm sure you'll tell us. But what really sticks out to me is the fact that you just understand each algorithm and can make viral content very consistently. You have over 7 million followers across platforms. And what else you want to add to your little 90-second intro? I feel like there's so much to you and you do so much behind the scenes. Add something.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that I actually do a lot of behind the scenes, producing, managing, pretty much everything that makes money.
Dude, I love it. This podcast is basically centered around a stat that the average career span of a content creator is 25 months. That's the whole idea of it. And so we're here to talk about what you're going to do to ensure longevity in the space. I'm assuming you want to be a creator, producer, whatever the heck you want to call yourself for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I really like this topic because I have so many conversations with people, especially older people, being like, well, what are you going to do in a year when this is all gone? And I'm like, wow, you're kind of right, I guess. But at the same time, there's a lot of us who kind of pivot and do something different, which is what I'm doing. And I think that longevity thing also speaks to the average of people who don't understand how to jump platforms properly.
Yeah.
So, we can take a look at so many other people that once you've jumped a platform, then you probably increase your longevity significantly. Yeah. And so I really love that. So this is a really cool topic.
And for me, even jumping off platforms, what can you do? To me, a creator is no different than an entrepreneur. What can you do in this realm? So, dude, I'm so excited to talk to you. We have a funny story. Dominic has basically made me so much money with a couple sentences, which we'll get to. But the first question, right? We like to segment this podcast into 3 sections. One is defining when your month 1 was. What month are you in today? And then where are you past that? So I guess question number 1 is really when did you start considering yourself to be a creator?
My start was a lot different than most people's, although TikTok has similar starts. So I started in October 2019. And basically, I was hanging out with some of the guys from the Vlog Squad, some of them that aren't really a part of it anymore. And I was like, hey, I really want to start a YouTube channel. I was literally working as a mental health therapist at the time, doing my hours. And I've always wanted to do social media. So I literally was going to school, and my parents basically told me, we're Middle Eastern, so you got to get a PhD. You have to be a lawyer, a doctor, whatever. So I was like, well, I'll just do as many degrees as possible. I think I did 119 different classes in college. And I worked on multiple master's degrees and everything. And I was like, okay, while I'm doing that and fulfilling their need, and it's kind of fun, I like it, I want to try and start something. So tons of failed businesses. We'll talk about that later. But I was like, all right, social media. I'm hanging out with this guy. And I was like, hey, you have a decent following. And you're not really big on YouTube, but you are big on Instagram. And I'd love to launch a YouTube channel kind of like BuzzFeed. And we could do that together. So we went to my school, which is Chapman University at the time, back in Orange County. Oh, wow. Really big film school. And I was like, let's get some interns to help us out. We'll create a dope channel. We'll get a warehouse. And as that started, I'm like, well, let me just post on TikTok to see if I can help grow and see if I can get some followers. And within 23 days, I was at 1 million followers. And so, yeah, that's the beginning of that.
On YouTube? 23 days?
On TikTok.
Oh, on TikTok. Okay. Even
so
still,
on TikTok,
that feels crazier. Because a lot of people getting 1 million subs on YouTube in a short amount of time are using pre-banked content. Was this all original content at the time, or was this repurposed?
Yeah, so all original. I had no content at the time that was I had no content besides photography that I did. And so basically I'm a advocate for what therapists call happenstance theory. The idea that there are events that happen and you need to be ready for those events, and that's how you kind of like take advantage of things in life. And so I'm very much of that mindset. I will drop one business on an instant if I feel like another one has more opportunity, more chance of succeeding. I'm a very analytical guy. So it's all about like statistics. You know, people always ask me, do you think I'm going to succeed? I'm like, I don't know. Statistically, no. And they're like, well, don't you believe in me? I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, it's just statistically no. And so for me, I want to increase my chances. And so I try new things. And so with TikTok, first video was a trend. I remember it specifically, the first couple, which was that one like, I used to be so beautiful and now whatever. And then I did like a swipe and I had goggles on. I was in the shower. Like it was something stupid. It did like 20,000. And a lot of people don't really realize what TikTok does or what they did early on. They are a variable reward system. The idea is that instead of getting users addicted, they get creators addicted and in turn create more content.
I love it.
And so they pushed views on someone new like me and a little taste of, hey, 0 followers, 30,000 views. This is insane.
Yeah.
And so it got me addicted to create more. And so I started posting. Yeah, I started posting a couple trends and did okay. Maybe some at like 10,000. Maybe if I got lucky, 50. And then I posted a video. This was about like 3 days in, of my mom and my family friend. And so basically what happened was I had a family friend who was 13 at the time, maybe 14, and she was singing that song, "You're a slave to my blank, do not lie." And the girl's like 14, and like we're really progressive, so we didn't care. But I made a joke to my mom. I'm like, "Oh my God, did you see Riley, what she posted?"
She's literally saying you're a slave to my pussy on social media.
Who's saying that?
Riley.
A slave to my pussy? On what?
TikTok.
What the is TikTok?
And I showed my mom, and my mom like jokingly, but like, "Oh my God, this is gross." And her aunt was there. And her aunt was like, "Oh my God, that's weird." And my mom was like, "Why the hell did you let her post this?" And she's like, "I didn't." And then they started arguing. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious." So I was like, "Yo, can we do that again?" And I filmed it. And I by the time I went to bed 3 hours later, it was at 5.7 million views. And I was like shaking. I couldn't sleep. I was like, you know, when you get your first viral video, like it's insane.
Did you say 5.7 million views in 3 hours?
Oh yeah. It was huge.
What did this video go to?
So here's the problem. So it gets to like 5-ish million, and I go to bed and I wake up and it's blocked. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm very persistent when I feel like I'm on the edge of something. And so I like email every employee at TikTok. I'm like, bro, they didn't have the appeal at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, this needs to go back up. At this point, I think I had gained from that video alone, like from that short span, I think I gained like 200,000 followers.
Oh
my
God.
And I was like, dude, like, no, like I was pissed because I knew I was on the brink of something, and I was very angry because I was like, bro, this isn't like my video's going viral, help me. It was like, no, I'm growing too. You potentially just stunted my career.
Yes.
And so I emailed everyone. And I'll get to what happened later because I got in touch with some people that kind of told me stop emailing them. And they're very high up at the company. I mean, the highest. And they're like, please stop emailing our employees. But I didn't know. I was like, bro, like this is like my one chance at something. So
Dominic, it's not that bad. I had a friend that literally drove to the TikTok headquarters and was like knocking on the door because their account was banned.
Okay. I feel as bad.
You're not that bad. Like we've all been there.
I just definitely annoyed them. But so I posted that, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna repost it. And I don't really remember the timeline of like when they got in contact with me. I think it was later, but I think they had told me after, if something gets taken down, just repost it if you feel like it's definitely not against the rules. So I repost it, and I think it was at I think it ended up peaking at let me pull it up here. I think it ended up peaking because I only have a couple hundred videos, barely. Like I don't even post that often. But I think it peaked at like a couple million again. It like ended up getting a couple million right away, but kind of slowed down. So I was like, okay, this is dope. I think at this point I was at a couple 100,000. I have all the screenshots of all the growth happening from that one video. And so I reposted it, and it did well. And then I was like, oh my God, everyone loved my mom because she's very, very aggressive. Like she's very, very blunt.
Yeah.
She's very blunt. Like they literally have her on a Design Star like audition right now. Like she's very blunt, very aggressive, very like to the point. And so everyone in the comments, what I realized was I was like learning why do they find this so funny. What I realized was the audience is young. Hearing a mom read the lyrics and like yell about it was like comical to them. It's like their mom getting upset. So that video, I look at my phone right now. I posted it. The second time, it's at 1.9 million. The third time I posted it, because I just kept reposting it, it's at 2.8 million right now. Right now as it is. And then the first one that I had posted, like it got banned at around 5 million. So those did well. And in between, as that grew, I was like, well, let me post this video about this website I know. You guys know the band Arcade Fire?
Yeah.
Okay, so they created this really cool interact. He doesn't know what it is. Jack's like, I don't know.
No idea.
Okay, so it's a really good band that like imagine their stuff is like for movies. Like they do really dope, long-winded, like beautiful stuff. But it's not like a sound. It's not like background music. It's really like dope. Anyway, they had a website that they built back in the day where you'd put in your address and it would use Google Maps to create a music video at your house. So it'd have like a guy running down the street in front of your house, and it's this dope interactive. So I posted that, and I was like, yo, people would love this. And it did 3 million. So my first few videos were 3 million, 2 million, 3 million, and 3 million. And the second one was, I named it Day 3 of My Family Fighting. And I would just script fights with them and have them yell at each other.
Sam, you forgot to make my car payment. They're going to repo my car.
Let him repo it. You can walk. You can lose some weight.
Lose some weight? With the flap under your arms, you can fly. You don't
How about
need to
I
walk.
use this flap and kick your ass?
And it did
Like
really
Two-Turn
well.
Tony.
Yeah, and I basically just wrote scripts and had them continue to fight for a bit. And what I realized with TikTok is there's a short span. Like, they get over it very quickly. So basically what happened is I was like, okay, well, let me continue this. And eventually it kind of died off. By like the 7th video, the audience was done. Like, we've seen your family fight. Now it's averaging like 200,000. And people were posting my videos of my family fighting. Twitter doing 10 million views. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, this is really dope. But what's the next thing? And so I saw on at TikTok at the time, if you guys remember, the trend was like, I see a door, like I'm gonna open it up, like for part 2 to see what's behind the door.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, okay, what can I do to make it a little bit different, a little bit more unique, and add a really big punch? And so I remember that these like invisible ink things that I used to get as a kid. And so I got the invisible ink and I wrote on my wall in my room, don't forget the safe in the backyard. And then I created a scenario where I was like, guys, my friend wanted to make fun of me in my room, and he got a black light to show how dirty it was. But look what we found. And I shined it on there, and 15 million views. Now, this is where it gets crazy. I was like, whoa.
This is where it
part
gets
2,
crazy.
of course. oh, just wait. I was like, part 2, of course. So I go in my attic, and I write the name of a serial killer. And I write a date when he was like around the time he was killing people. And then I made a video saying, guys, I went around my house looking for more clues. Look what I found. And I knew I didn't want to say serial killer because they'd say bullshit. So I said, this must be the old owner. That's so cool. Go to my YouTube to learn more. I'm going to be discovering more. That did 2.5 million views. That night, my name went trending on YouTube. I gained 80,000 subscribers in one night. And on YouTube, and I had no video up. Like, you can go to my YouTube, and my first video of me just saying, what's up, guys? This is my channel. Be prepared for some really cool stuff. That has like 60, 70,000 views. And I was like, what the heck's going on? So I hire a fake police to come to the house after everyone comments, no, it's a serial killer. It's not the old owner. Like, they felt engaged in my story because they did the discovery. Yeah, I knew that they were going to feel excited that they figured it out, and I didn't. Because if I told them, guys, that's a serial killer, they're going to be like, oh, whoop-de-doo. But for me telling them, oh, it's just the old owner, don't worry about it, next video, they're like, no, stop, it's not, it's a killer, like, beware. And so I hired a fake police to come to the house and investigate.
Hello? Can I help you?
Yes. Hello. Is this the residence of Dominic Andre?
And I filmed all of this, posted on YouTube, and my videos on YouTube were averaging around 200,000 views.
Dude, what is going
and
on?
By the end of this series, I think I ended it after like 5 videos. I was at 1 million followers. And right now, I'll read you off the view count. 15 million views on part 1, 2.5 million views on part 2, 2 million views on part 3, 3.4 million views on part 4, 6.6 million views on part 5, 1 million views on part 6. And then that's when it kind of died, because once I got 1 million, I was like, ooh, like that's a huge drop off. I think they're over it. And then I moved on to oh, and then I moved on to
You basically failed.
Stuff.
You basically failed
Yeah,
a million.
it was horrible. I was very mad at myself.
Who
But
was
I
the serial
like, whoa,
killer?
like, let me see. It's right here.
It's like Ted Bundy.
No. It's in my area too. So they kind of knew what area I was in. So they were like, bro, that's a serial killer in your area. And it caused them to go crazy. So I'm looking at the video right now. Randy Kraft, 1983.
Randy Kraft.
And my name was trending on YouTube.
Wow.
The next day,
Oh my!
I get an email. YouTube X Dominic Andre. And I was like, what's this? And it says like Melissa at google.com is emailing you. And I was like, huh? And they're like, hey, we saw that your name's trending. We saw that your growth. We'd like to invite you to a white glove program with you, Charlie D'Amelio, and I think it was Brittany Broski at the time. I forgot the third girl, but I think it was Brittany Broski, and I don't remember, but I think it was her. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, so you're going to get your own rep. I have the email and everything. I should send it to you guys so you could post it. But
yeah, frame that
you get
one.
your own rep. Yeah, you get your own rep, and we'll give you all the secrets, all the algorithm, everything. We'll help you out with everything. We'll have a rep go through your analytics and give you advice on everything to do.
Bro.
And so I got that email literally like 20 days into me doing social media. And that was like, that's what, to get this podcast started. Long story short.
Yeah.
That's what jump started, this is it.
Everything.
And I remember when my friend who said those words, like the singing the lyrics, like she's a young girl, she was like, oh my God, you're like clout chasing. And I was like, no, I'm not stupid. This is going to be a lot of money. I'm going to turn this into a lot of money. Yeah. And we'll get to how much that was in the long run. But yeah.
Dude, okay, wait. Let's jump back a little bit, because that, first of all, insane. Absolutely insane. I don't think I've heard you said that was in a time span of 20 days.
Yeah, it's 20. I think at max, sometimes I like get a little confused. I think at max is about 27 days. Yeah.
27 days. Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I think I stopped at like 950,000 for a while, but yeah, it was about 1 million. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what made you post what made you download TikTok in October 2019? Because at this point, right, everyone thought it was just an app of people dancing, young 13, 14-year-olds just dancing, right? Because it was Musical.ly the app before, right? Like the year before.
Yeah, I posted something on Musical.ly once because I was like, oh, this is a new app. Let me just post something because I've heard of people being big on it.
Yeah. Why were you interested in like Musical.ly then? What piqued that?
I only posted one video of my girlfriend jumping in a pool because I'm like, bro, everyone loves girls in bikinis. Maybe they'll like this. It didn't do anything. It like was literally zero. And I was like, okay, whatever. Never posted it again. And because I think when I had Musical.ly, I noticed, because I actually liked Musical.ly because I loved Liza's videos. Those like really cool like half speed videos were just so cool and mesmerizing to watch.
Who is this?
Liza Koshy.
Liza Koshy's videos. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And so she has like really cool ones back in the day where she's like doing these like back in the day when it was like dancing but no words and so I was like, oh, this is really dope. And so I noticed a lot of the girls were on there. So I'm like, oh, I'll post a video of my girlfriend and people love that. Didn't go anywhere and I just deleted the app. And then a couple of months later, I was just like, okay, what can I use? What apps can I use to help this YouTube channel? It's Seth Francois. Me and Seth launched. Like, what platform can I use to help him grow this YouTube channel we were starting together? And that's why I started using TikTok.
Were you concentrating? I know, like, I want to touch on your processes, like today, like what you do today to like generate viral content. But at this time, right, were you concentrating on? You said that you knew that you kind of hinted at it was like, oh, like it was relatable to the people that watching my mom, like in a very comedic way, fight. Right? What were you concentrating on to almost generate these views, or very early on, when making this content?
So my whole family is really loud, very confident, very bold. So I knew like we're a funny family. But I once I caught wind that like, oh my God, they hearing my mom say these words, like get upset about TikTok, got them laughing because at the time there weren't older people on the app. So they saw an older person talking about TikTok and their minds blew. Like, oh my God, a mom's talking about TikTok, like our trends. And then people were dying. And then I was like, dude, they want more of it. And I gave them more. I was like, okay, they're definitely going to want to just hear more. So I wrote one of the videos where I had my mom read the lyrics. So I had like a fake person sit down, and I shot it from an angle where it was like, oh my God. And I told everyone, by the way, this was my sister. So the title was, my sister got caught singing lyrics on TikTok or something like that. And I filmed another piece, like part 2, where I was like upstairs and my mom was like, I'm going to read you the lyrics. And I knew that would get them buzzing because they're going to be like, oh my God, this mom's reading the lyrics. You're a slave to my blank, do not lie. And she's like, does that sound okay to you? And like, obviously the audience is like dying laughing.
Is exactly.
And so they loved my mom. And then I pivoted to like my mom and dad fighting about random stuff, like washing the car and like stuff. So when they would fight about random stuff, I would literally stop their stupid fight and be like, all right, this is wasteful. We're not making money from this. I love the fight though. Let's run it back and let's make it a show. And I would film that and post it.
Dominic, I want to post something here. I want to show a juxtaposition between you and myself. So about October of 2019, that's when you said you started?
Exactly. October 2019.
Around that same time, I had a very similar situation. My first viral video, it got like not the same amount of views, but about 1.5 million views. It was like my mom and my sister. And like I said something like, Mom, what's the plural of hydro flask? And she said, hydro flasks. Mom, what is the plural of hydro flask?
Hydro flasks.
What's interesting about this is like, I wasn't thinking that way. You know, I wasn't thinking, oh, people like this because it's only young people on TikTok and like this is like a parent reacting to like young modern day trends. So
yeah,
I know Tejas and I usually don't go too into the background of a person on this podcast, but within the first 20, 30 days of you being on an app to get 1 million followers and be in a white glove room at YouTube with arguably the most famous person in the world right now within your first 30 days, like what's your background in storytelling? Like you obviously knew how to tell stories before you got on this app. I want to know your process there.
Yeah, I'll make it quick because it's long, definitely. But for people to understand basic psychology, none of us really have free will. It really is that. A lot of people argue, but we really don't. And the meaning behind that is where I'm born, who I'm born to, the genetics I have, the environment I'm in, those shape me, right? If Steve Jobs would have never started Apple if he was born in Nebraska. That's just the fact of it. And so I was born to a family that was very social and very confident. So like I lack nothing in that realm when it comes to that. And so for me, one, I'm very social. So I'm very aware of things because obviously being social, you have to hopefully be aware of things. When I started to go to school, I knew school was kind of a little boring to me, and I started college at 15. I was like, okay, well, like my high school's not doing well. I might as well just go to college and start doing those classes. And from 15 years old to 27 years old, I did college. And I went to college that entire time, and I just took every class that I could. My first couple classes were philosophy, and the idea is philosophia. Philosophy stands for a level of knowledge. I loved learning things because I suffered with anxiety for a while, and I was always scared of the unknown. Like when I would get sick, it'd be like, what is this? I don't know. And then I realized, well, I could just teach myself medicine or go to class for it and then solve my issue. And so I started doing religion. So I studied religion in depth. I did my bachelor's was in philosophy and religion. I worked on a bachelor's in political science, another bachelor's in liberal arts. And then I did a couple AAs. And then as I moved on to my master's, I did international politics with a focus on Middle Eastern conflict, and then sociology. And then I moved on to a master's at Pepperdine for clinical psychology to be a therapist. And so I've always just wanted to like analyze things. And I used to tell my friend, which is really weird, I would go on like Omegle and I would chat with people on the text chat. And I would, whatever they were like talking about, I would just consume that personality and be like, totally understand. I'm going through that exact same thing. And I would try and learn from them and understand them. And I started to realize like the variations of humans that are out there. Wow. And I learned to talk with people from different realms. And so when I do things, I usually analytically look at it and understand the underlying, issues that are happening that are causing this. And so everything has a reason, right? So the name of, ironically, my podcast is Chaos Theory, the idea that everything may look random, but there's an underlying pattern. And so although it might look random that your video went viral, there is something there that caused it to go viral. And what is that? And so I just broke it down like that. I was like, well, I want to reproduce it. I'm not creative in the sense of like, I'm just doing me and me is viral. Like, no, like I struggle. I'm not the best looking. I'm not fit. You know, I'm not young. I'm like, I had nothing going for me that's TikTokable. What I did have was like, this is, well, how can I recreate it again with a different variation? And I'm not creative, but what I am is analytical enough to say that guy went viral. How can I do something like it with my own twist with the underlying virality factor?
Dude, I love it. I have a very similar thesis. I made a TikTok once saying that pretty privilege does not exist. And I was like, that was my hook. And the whole idea of it was like, yo, if she has pretty privilege or he has pretty privilege, then I can say that I have smart privilege, right? It's like you play the deck that you have in your hand. Like you can't, like there's nothing you can do. Like if you complain about what others have, I mean, it's very, very blunt, but I subscribe to that completely. I think that's awesome. You saw like just the fact like you're so self-aware of like your position. You're so calculated with what you do. It's very inspiring to see where you got it because, you know, like a lot of people, like a lot of what we do is a lot luck. It's also a lot, or it's I don't know what your theory on luck and hard work is.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's luck. You can calculate luck. You can calculate luck.
It is exactly. So for people watching and to understand this from a psychological standpoint, really, if I break down these two guys right here, these two hosts, I can break down exactly why they are the way they are, and none of it comes back to them, right? People think like, oh, I did this and I chose. What do you mean you chose? Like, do you just randomly walk down the street and go, I want to be TikTok famous? Well, how would you know? How would you even know where to begin? How would you know TikTok exists? You know, environments shape who you are. That is a fact. You know, I had someone tell me like, oh, what do you mean? They're like, you know, I'm like, well, you're going to the military, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, why? They're like, well, my dad was in the military. I'm like, so if he wasn't, he goes, oh yeah, I wouldn't have gone. I go, so nothing changed about you. I changed one factor, like your dad didn't go to the military and your whole life is different. He goes, oh yeah, I'd be a completely different person. So we don't choose anything. The only thing we can really do is try, and that's it. Like literally that's it, is try. And ironically, the gene for trying is something that you develop based on your environment or your genetics.
Exactly.
Like I got lucky that I have this brain that was willing to try. There are other people who are way more talented than me, but their brain just blocks them from trying, and it's not like a choice. It's not like they're like, well, I choose to be poor. Like, no. Their brain is blocking them, and I don't have a block. The only difference is I don't have skill, but I don't have a block. And I've tried to get big on other platforms. My first video on YouTube was in 2008, and it has 110,000 views. I got to go to meet the Queen of England with a family friend.
Wow.
And we filmed it, and I was like, I don't know, 14 at the time, whatever it was, like 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And it went,
YouTube.
it went 100K. There was no monetization at the time. I tried to post a couple. They flopped. I gave up. I tried posting. I think I've created 15 YouTube channels since then. The difference was why I succeeded was I just kept going. And then eventually,
perseverance.
Yeah, like I'm here and I will always be here. That's me. Platforms change. This is happenstance theory. TikTok came, I tried and it worked. All the other ones that came and I tried, they didn't work. I moved on, but I just kept trying and I never changed. But TikTok came and it perfectly fit my mentality of, you know, you can get viral within a minute, and that's my sense. I would rather work 80 hours in like 4 days than work, 80 hours over 3 weeks. So, yeah.
No, I mean, you're right. You kill bad ideas quickly. And like, as someone who's been in, like, I love talking to founders of startup CEOs and things like that at this point in my life. And like, that's a very common theme. It's like, yo, you try an idea, you kill it quickly, you move on. Yeah. Right. And you basically said the same. I just want to move on here because we're killing it. I mean, so you said you started October 2019, right? Doing the math, you're about 23 months in to like your time span of a career. Let's talk today. Let's like, what does your process look like today? Like, what are you doing to keep, like, as a creator, what does your day-to-day look like? What apps are you prioritizing? What content are you prioritizing? Has what worked in the past worked today? Like, talk to me about it.
Yeah, so I think nothing's really changed. I definitely got like a little bit slower because I started making a lot more money. And I started to kind of, get a little bit lazy because also I have a life now. Like I bought a house. I just surprised my girlfriend with a $100,000 car that I had to pay for. So like, definitely like I have a lot more stress on my mind. So I do encourage anyone out there who's making a lot of money to not increase your spending right away. Not because, it's the safe thing to do. It's a time consuming thing. When you buy a house, when you have to buy furniture, when you're buying a car, all of these things take time. And then you have the stress of mind knowing, wait, before I was living, let's say in an apartment making $200,000 or $300,000 a year. Now I'm living in a house and I have to make $200,000-$300,000 a year. And it really it destroys your motivation. But basically, my path where I am now is I ended up winning a lot of money from Spotlight. And I converted that into like, okay, well, Spotlight used me and Lauren DIY as their promotion of their yearly report. And they were like, all right, here are 2 like most successful creators. And I was like, okay, well, you guys are doing this for me. I want Snapchat shows. So I ended up getting 5 total Snapchat shows. And I definitely focus like a lot on Snapchat right now. That's like my main focus.
Another creator that's a good friend of mine, Josh Terry, talks a lot about how when you fail, that like depression is often the result of that. And I'm sure you can relate to this and knowing your background in psychology. When you fail, depression is usually the result. But when you succeed, anxiety is the result. And anxiety is notably worse because it's the unknown. You're not used to it. So having all the success, like you put a bunch of anxiety on yourself. Like you got this new house, you got this car for your girlfriend, you have this pressure to keep making money. But at the same time, like I think a lot of people don't realize that creators, when they start to succeed, it's like, why would you perform when you have money right in front of you? Like,
yeah, it definitely takes a lot away from you. But what it did do for me is if I were to like give up on social media today, I have enough money to live off the rest of my life. Not comfortably, but like enough to definitely jumpstart something huge.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
No, yeah, and I appreciate it. And like, that's my mindset was like, okay, I got lucky with Spotlight. I then got lucky with the shows. And then, I got lucky with, I started getting bigger deals now than I've ever gotten on TikTok before. I'm really well integrated with TikTok. So I basically, I don't talk about it too much, but I do a lot of the behind the scenes when it comes to TikTok. Like I'm very connected. And so like I help them choose people for certain things. I help them pick who's on the front page. I can literally text them like, hey, I'd like to be on the front page. So I definitely made really good friendships with people that I really do care about, that I really like, and also are really well connected. So it's like this awesome relationship where like when you make a friend, you want value from that friend, whether they make you happy or help you in life, and you do the same for them. And I definitely found a couple people that I'm like, dude, I love these people. They're really awesome. And we get to work together and make money. Like this is just all around badass. So I'm now to the point where like I definitely wanting to start back up again. I took a huge break from TikTok. I want to start back up again. But I realized that like TikTok isn't going to be around for the long haul. Or to some degree, I won't. Whether it's me or TikTok, one of us is not going to be viral, and I need to think like that. And so my mindset was, well, what's the next thing? It's YouTube. And so I'm starting a family channel with my girlfriend. So we made the video of like surprising my girlfriend. It's a beautiful video. My girlfriend surprised me 3 weeks earlier with a classic car. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. Like 2 good banger videos for the first couple. My YouTube channel, I have a couple videos on there. Like one of them is at 1.8 million. Me and Alex Warren did some dope stuff. And I hit him up a couple days ago. I'm like, hey, I want to do something. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but we're about to do something with a car soon with me and Alex when he gets back from Hawaii. And so I'm like, oh, like this will be dope. So I'm basically going to be focusing 100% of my effort on YouTube, hopefully finding a good team to continue my Snapchat shows, and then make some money on TikTok as I do. So now it's doing really well. YouTube has longevity as I get older. So as I get older, my content is good, but I don't foresee it being long haul on TikTok. And YouTube convert like let's just say I'm 28 right now. If I turn 34 and I want to continue this, it ain't gonna be TikTok. Like I'll do it, and if I get lucky, great. But I'm just gonna pretend like it doesn't exist anymore. I'm not gonna sit there and just assume I'm still famous or still big or still making money. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm dead, guys. So what's the next step? It's YouTube. So we're launching 2 channels. One of them I already have. I'm at like 130K subscribers on it. The other one is the family channel that we're launching. And so I got my girlfriend verified on Snapchat. She's like booming on there. I got, she has her TikTok. I think she's at about 1 million followers. And she posts about once every month, like once. And I'm trying to push her to post a little bit more. So ideally, I'm trying to convert to YouTube, make it a family channel because they're very lucrative and it's less stress because our day-to-day is really fun, like really fun.
Yeah.
And, every day we have Sean Does Magic here. We have a couple of our other friends. They all moved because of me and Sean. Like Sean moved here in this area that we're in. And I was like, bro, I want to be near Sean. So I bought a house here. And then our other friends, about 6 of them, all moved like across the street from my house at an apartment complex. So we all live within 1 mile from each other. And we basically film all the time. We do dope stuff. And so I definitely have a lot more content that I can do YouTube related rather than TikTok. So I'll try them all. Gotcha. I'll always keep trying them. But YouTube's kind of my next focus. There are a couple things I'm working on the back end that are like new and creative that I'm like in contact with a lot of brands. But yeah, and ironically, I've made more money from working with platforms than I have from brands.
No, that I love that. I think one thing that really sticks out to me of yours is that you've really hammered down a process here, right? Like your day to day, like you don't seem to be like. One thing that sticks out is how fast, like this is so small, but whenever I send you a text, you're always so fast to respond. Yeah. And to me, that shows like you kind of have everything day to day in control. Like the fact that you're building a team for your 5 Snapchat shows, right? That you have 2 YouTube channels, a TikTok. Like I can't, like you're really focusing on the process and building a team, which is just building your long-term equity.
Yeah, I'm
really cool.
I'm definitely spreading. I will say, like, the downfall of what I'm doing is I'm spreading myself too thin. And, like, my Snapchat shows aren't performing as well as when I was handling them, for sure. So me and my girlfriend were just talking about that, where she's like, well, hey, I think you need to kind of get a little bit more back in control and, start boosting those back up. And there's that balance. I always tell Sean and we always sit down. And Sean and I do roughly the same when it comes to finances and stuff, but he's much bigger than me, and the difference is I am constantly focusing on the money. He's constantly focusing on the content. So he's not like, I need more money. He's just so good at what he does that he's bringing in the money, but I'm not good at what I do, but I am good at the business. So when I first got my first deal on March 16th, 2020 with Bang, I was like, okay, this is a dope deal. I think it was in like and it was like my first deal. And I was like, okay, well, they're paying me. I think it was around the time roughly between, I'm not allowed to say it, but I'm not with them anymore. But it was like anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000 a month. Okay. And so I was only at 2 million followers at the time. I took 3 months to negotiate that deal to get the right price. And I was like, well, this is dope. I'm living in Orange County right now. How can I move to LA? That money's good, but like, what if it goes away? So the first thing I did was I reached out to 25 different influencers and I pitched them the deal. Hey, if I get you a deal, will you give me 20%? And I was able to secure $2.5 million in deals from that. And that was when I was like, well, I now have money coming in consistently. I think at the time it fluctuated because if someone doesn't post, they don't get paid. It fluctuated between around $8,000 to $15,000 a month I was getting paid on top of my money. And so till this day, I still get paid around $65,000 a year from the deals that I've given.
You smart son of a bitch.
So that was like my first thing was like, well, my girlfriend told me, she's like, I'm going to be honest, she's younger. She's like 23. She's like, Dominic, you're a little old. Let's pretend you're not going to exist on this app much longer. And I was like, okay. So I I ended up getting to the point where I was managing 15 different people and I was getting them deals and making cuts off everyone. So I made like a good, like pre-Snapchat, I was made like a good 50% of my income, if not more, from managing and producing deals for other people. And so I was able to move to Los Angeles, moved into a house, got scammed by a billionaire. No joke. I can't talk about it because the guy has so much money, it's disgusting. But no joke. It was me and a couple big creators. We moved in, and I was like, hey, can I move in early? And then the person was like, yeah, I'll move in like a day early. I moved in a day early. The day I was supposed to move in, get a call, 9 a.m., billionaire. Hey, I'm not going to relate it because I don't want to be too specific, but hey, the person who gave you the house wasn't supposed to, you need to move out. And I'm like, well, first off, everything's here. I just moved in. It's mid-COVID, March This is in September. Like, I'm not gonna. Where am I gonna go? And he's like, well, I'll give you 2 weeks to get out. So we had to like legally battle them for a couple months, and then finally we had given them a 3-month deposit, so they had kicked us out. They're like, okay, your 3 months is up, get out. So I had to move out. I like lost all the money that I had made because I dropped so much on being there. I think I dropped like $60,000 on just the whole process.
Oh my God.
Moved into the mountains in Big Bear. My family luckily just bought a house there because COVID was just so bad, and they're not healthy. So they're like, well, we want a place to like not destroy ourselves so we can go breathe. So me and my girlfriend moved by ourselves to the middle of nowhere, mountains, stayed there for 2 months, and then on the second month I get a call from Snapchat, and I have a video of it, and that's when they told me I won money, and then that's when we came and bought the house.
How much money did you win from Spotlight?
I won $995,000.
For the second week of Spotlight, you earned, and this is a rounded number.
Was that total?
That's total, yeah.
Thank God. Okay.
We had friends, by the way. So listen to the story. This is the craziest story. Here's some drama for you. All right, you're about to be a drama page. All right. So
call them out. Let's hear it.
Oh, this is bad. Okay, so my friend's living with these guys, and I get a call, and he goes, "Hey." So how I learned about Spotlight was I got verified. By the way, it took me 9 months. God, I have so much to say. I'm gonna make this really quick.
Dude, I love this. I'm so entertained right now. It's crazy.
My dream was a Snapchat show.
Yes.
Back in April, about April of COVID, Gary Vee hosts an event on TikTok. You can go live. If you donate, you can have a meeting with him. It's $1,000. I'm like, yo, this guy's connected with Snapchat. I want a show. I'm gonna get it.
Yes.
I donate $7,800 to Gary Vee, to his nonprofit, to get a meeting with him. They said if you donate $1,000, you get a Zoom call. If you donate $5,555, you'll get a dinner with me. I had $8,000 in my bank account. I dropped 98% of it on that. Girlfriend, like, I go, can I drop $1,000? She goes, no, she's very not a risk taker. She's like, don't do it. I'm like, so I put in my credit card. I don't tell her I do it. She goes, did you do it? I go, yeah, it's only $1,000. And then he goes, all right, guys, if you donate $5K, you get dinner with me. So I like walk into the next room, put in my credit card, and I just drop all my money on. So for like months, I'm trying to get in contact with him. It's very hard to do it, even though I donated, and it took a while.
Yeah.
I get a meeting with him. I'm like, hey, I want a Snapchat show. At this time, I've emailed 193 employees at Snapchat, and I have a girl who's like, I'll put your stuff in review, and we'll let you know in a couple months. And
193 employees?
Yeah, on LinkedIn, everywhere. I hit up everyone. And I think I can like pull it up. I got in touch with a gentleman who I believe was the CMO. He connected me with a person. He goes, talk to this person. They were out due to like some sort of leave because it was COVID. It was like getting in the peak. And they left. And then it was like, for emergencies, you can reach this person. So I like reached out to that person. I'm like, hey, I want a show. They're like, okay, give us a pitch, log line, blah, blah, blah. We'll let you know in a couple months. It takes a couple months, which I was like, that's weird. Okay.
Oh my God.
So at the same time, I'm trying to meet with Gary Vee. I'm also trying to get it myself. And then I get a meeting with Gary Vee. Hey, Gary Vee, I want a show. All right, dope. Let me see who I can reach out at Snapchat. Reach out, blah, blah, blah. Nothing happens. And then I reach out to the girl. I go, hey, it's been a couple months. Why don't what's going on? Hey, we're going to have to pass. We don't want to show with you. I'm like, okay. Can I at least get verified? All right, we'll verify you. So I get a call the next week. Hey, you're verified. Also, check out this new thing we have called Spotlight. All right, dope. I'll check it out. So I go home. I start posting on Spotlight. My girlfriend's like, hey, get to bed. I'm like, no, I'm going to post. She's like, seriously, stop being on your phone. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm going to post. I'm going to win something.
Did you know at this point you can get, it's like they're doing $1 million a day?
No. They said $1 million a day, but so did TikTok. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I assumed it was like TikTok. My thought process was Charlie D'Amelio is going to go on the app, soak up all the money, and it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
So I posted a couple videos, didn't think much of it. And then my friend calls me and says, hey, I don't want to tell you this, but my roommates, these two creators, they I don't even want to tell you, but they won $200,000. And I was like, what?
Joey and Cam?
Yeah, come on, we know who they are.
So I go, okay. So I hit up Joey and Cam, and I'm like, yo, like, what happened? Nothing happened. Ignored it. They pretended like they didn't win. I go, oh, okay, well, I got a DM that says I won. I'm just curious what you guys won. They go, we don't know. I go, okay. So then I literally like wait a couple days or whatever, and then my friend tells me, that they won this money, the roommate. And I go, okay, like, I don't know why they're not telling me, but sure. And then a couple days later, I get a call they say, hey, we want to put you on the New York Times. I'm like, okay, dope. I have this all recorded too. I was literally in the shower. I jump out because I'm getting a call. And my girlfriend puts the camera up to record me, and I'm like, I cry. So I'm on the phone. She's like, hey, are you cool with disclosing how much you won? I'm like, sure. Like, I don't care. Great. And then the girl goes to the other employee. I'm just going to use a fake name, Becca. He doesn't know how much he won. And she goes, wait, you don't? I go, no. She goes, oh, are you sitting down? And I'm like, huh? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you should be sitting. And I'm like, what? So I'm like standing there, and she goes, so for week one, you won $289,000. And I just instantly start bawling. And I'm like, oh. And my girlfriend just collapses to the ground, starts bawling. And then she goes, for week two, you won $49,000. So in total, it was $330,000. I go downstairs. I get a cute video of my parents like telling them, and it's so funny. I won $320,000.
You're lying.
No,
You're lying.
I won $320,000.
You're lying. Did you? Oh my god! Oh my god! Something to tell you.
How much you won?
$320,000.
Who said you have to go to school? Damn, you don't have to go to school.
So at this point, I have all the videos. I call every influencer that I know, including many of them who've actually screwed me over financially. But I have a very big mouth. I like to just spread news. It's fun to me, especially when I feel like it benefits people. So I called everyone, pretty much around 100. I wouldn't say 100. It's about 60 people who have won money today, significant money, won directly because I called them day one as a post.
Oh my God. Yo, sign me up to that newsletter.
So I literally called everyone. Many of them bought houses and stuff. And so I was like, okay, like this is dope.
Yeah, wait, pause. Dominic,
you're good.
I want to compliment you. Like, people do not realize how generous that move is. Like, I'll be honest,
I lost tons of money from it, but I don't
like, this lost you money. Like, this
a lot. People make way more than me.
This maybe lost you $1 million.
Easy,
way more.
Easy.
But they like, what's your thought process? Like, why did you do this?
I just like, I don't know. I like people knowing things, and knowing things is fun. So I was just like,
but
I want to tell everyone.
You also subconsciously, I think, knew that your relationships with these people are going to pay you back in the future more than $1 million. Like,
I mean, yeah, but not to be honest. I do this with everything, whether it's money or not. I love spreading information because I think I have like a knack for wanting to be a teacher. So my mindset is like, guys, new thing, get on it, let's do this together.
Yeah.
And so I called everyone, and as time went on, Cam would go to people's houses like Sean does magic, stay there while winning millions of dollars at the time and say nothing. So Sean would open his house to them, like to other people too, like, hey, you know, whatever.
Yep.
They would just not tell anyone anything. So it's gone weeks now. They will not speak to anyone about it. Yep. They only talk to like a select few people. Every time I'd ask them, would you win? They would just ignore me. And then I get a text from them saying, from one of the guys saying, I'm not going to keep naming names. So he said, hey, maybe you should stop telling people. And I literally replied with, I've made enough and you've made enough. I'd like my friends to make money. And I don't know if he replied or not, but I think he didn't reply. But their mindset, they basically told me, stop telling people, keep your mouth shut. We want more money to ourselves. And so very quickly we diverted. They don't speak to anyone anymore. And I heard them on like a podcast saying we got jealous. And everyone's like, no, you didn't tell us. You even told Dominic not to tell us. And they told me, we don't want them to know because those guys have made too much money. We want the money to ourselves.
Wow.
And so, anyway, I continue to post, and I averaged around anywhere from 30 to 120,000 per week for a couple of weeks straight. And then I even called my friends who didn't do social media, and I've had friends win like I think the one of the biggest was like I think they won like 50,000, and they've never even posted on social media in their life. So we called everyone we could, and we definitely helped a lot of people. But yeah, so over time we like stopped talking to them. I ended up continuing to win money. Obviously they won way more. But you know, my focus was like, I want my friends to make money because if I'm in a big house and my friends are in an apartment, it's not fun.
It's not fun. Yeah.
So, So yeah, so I told everyone I have friends who my co-host you'll actually see on a lot of my stuff from now on.
Yeah.
He's on social media. He's not big on any of the platforms, but he works harder than anyone I know. And he won a couple $100,000. So like I have friends who were like, hey, I'm ready to move home. I don't have money. And they were killing it. And so that's what happened on Spotlight. And then that's when it converted. So I was literally trying to get shows. Back to that. This is
the shows. Yep. Yeah,
so,
I love it.
So I won the money. And then I go, all right, can I have a show? I just won $1 million.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. I go, what do you mean? At this point, I'm like getting angry. And I know some of the reps at like Snapchat definitely don't like me. Like they can say what they will. I know they don't like me.
Yeah.
And because I've heard from other people's stuff. And I was like, dude, I deserve this. Like I won $1 million. So I'm one of their biggest creators. And then they verified me at this point, and my snaps from 0 followers were getting 1 million opens per snap. So I'm like, bro, and they were like, no way it is. I'm like, yes, like how am I not getting a show? My content's booming, my spotlights are booming. So I go, screw this. I'm very persistent. I go on Clubhouse, and I start speaking on Clubhouse. I had like 6K on Clubhouse. People love hearing me talk at this point because I'm talking about money, and people love hearing the behind the scenes.
Of course.
And I tell my girlfriend, I go, yo, I've heard from people that like, from my rep too, like, hey, people on Snapchat have heard you speak. They really like what you say. So I started to realize when they would enter the room. And so one day I see they're all in a room called like Snapchat employees. And I tell my girlfriend, I go, Mary, get on right now. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, get on right now. So she gets on, I open a room, and I name it Snapchat. They were ending their room. So I immediately opened it right when I heard them ending their room.
Yep.
A couple of them flooded in. And I just texted my girlfriend, read these questions to me word for word. Let me answer them. Keep quiet.
Yep.
And then ask me the next one when I'm done. My friend joins the room, and he goes, and he's like, he texted me after, he goes, why were you like speaking the whole time? And I was like, because I'm doing something. And I spoke for like 30 minutes. They were all in there. And then I DM'd one of them. And I go, yo, man, I've been trying to get a show. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've talked to everyone. My videos are doing well, blah, blah, blah. He goes, give me a minute. 3 hours later, he goes, hey, you have a meeting tomorrow. Your show's ready to go. And I'm like,
at this point, why were you so persistent on a show?
Because I knew they made a lot of money, and I knew it was a very slim amount of people who have a show. So when you get a show, your front page, as you've learned, like you can have 0 followers, but yeah, you can get it to you can have 0 followers, but be seen to 1 million people day one. There's no other platform that does that besides TikTok, kind of. But this one's more of like a guarantee. And if I would have gotten in earlier, I would have made millions of dollars. But now that it's kind of oversaturated, but I was asking him, and he was like, oh yeah, there is no 4-month process. They lied to you. So they denied me for, I don't know what reason. The people running the shows were like, we've been begging for science. So I was like, what did I do wrong? Like, it's not like I have a name of me. Like they just, I don't know if they got annoyed that I was like emailing, but I'm like, bro, I asked you guys initially, you ignored me. I'm telling you, you could use my content. Now you're begging for my content. So I told them, well, I want to do more shows because I know you need it. And now I have 5. So I have a couple science shows. I produce a couple of friends shows for them, or I've gotten them the deal, and then I take 20% of that. So I definitely have a couple shows going on that I work on. And so that's my Snapchat story. And in total, I think I've made in total from Snapchat around $1.5 million.
That makes so much more sense. So just some background how Dominic and I met. Right. I think we just kind of DM'd a little bit on TikTok. Right. And then I was like, yo, let's hop on a call. And this was right when I got an email to get a Snapchat show, which I just feel bad at this point to see the links you went to get a show and just bleep that name out. Emails me. And
what's the email? Just curious.
And when I told Dominic, I was like, yeah, I mean, I have 300,000 on TikTok. Snapchat just offered me a show. I'm kind of I don't know. And he Dominic literally went, what? And he I think you were looking back at your girlfriend and you were like, yo, this guy has 300, he's got what'd you say? And I was like, what do you mean? I don't even think it's like that. Who uses Snapchat? I was like, I haven't used Snapchat since high school or whatever. Dude, who knew that this is one of the most lucrative platforms I've ever seen in my life?
Dominic, when this man came to me and he was like, yeah, Jack, Snapchat offered me a show. I'm like, what the do you mean Snapchat offered you a show? You have 300,000. Holy congratulations. I'm good friends with Sean as well and knew how lucrative his show was at the time. And I was like, Like, yes, take it. Like, take it
Dude.
and run, man.
Wait, which Sean?
Sean does magic.
Oh. Yeah, I did that one for him.
Oh, yeah, I'm friends with Sean too, by the way. But like straight up, you are 100% the reason I like went through with the show, and I could not be.
No,
wrong.
dude. No, I'm glad
Dude.
that you did it because I was like so angry when you said, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do it. I gotta finish school," and I was like, "Bro, I'm about to slap you." Like I just like gave my entire bank account to get this show
To get-
and you
oh
like,
my
and by the
God.
way, they're still looking for now
Oh.
they literally hit me up and I'm like, "What are you guys looking for? I'll create it." And they gave me a
Yes.
list of things they're looking for, and I was like, "Done. I'm gonna do it." And I pitched them 2 more shows, so I'm hoping to get at least one of them.
Oh my God, dude. First of all, I just want to say like congrats. Like you're killing it. Like I don't even know what else to say. Like you did so much of what you're doing too is calculated. You know, it's like the lengths you go. It's like Eric said this on the Khan and Samir show. He said like your success is dependent on how hard you want to work and how much you're like willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And for you, like you did it all. You did it all. And like even just your generosity, it's like you're really one of a kind. You could have made, who knows? You said you made basically $1 million on Spotlight. Like you could have made another $1 million if you kept quiet, but you didn't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You could have
definitely
these
the middle.
Snapchat shows. You're like, there was no reason. I look up because there's no reason even day one for you to respond to my DM of like, hey Dominic, I'd love to get on a call or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? You have 7 million followers. I have 400,000. I mean, like that's
You know,
at the
you
end
know
of the day,
what's-
yeah.
What I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off, was like,
Go ahead.
so I think I was at like maybe 3 million at the time, maybe 2 million.
Yeah.
And this is how I got in touch with big creators. Alex Warren was live, and Alex goes, this was like first day into the hype house that he was in, like the house they got.
Yeah.
And he said, if you donate $20, I'll follow you. And I was like, well, I'm verified. If he follows me and I DM him, he's definitely going to read it. So I donated the $20. He followed me. I DM'd him and said, yo, I'm actually driving to LA tomorrow. Would you be down to do a video? And he literally replied, I'm so down. And then he literally goes, and this was like the funniest, cutest thing, is like I was dying. He goes, is there any way like I could be in the video? And I go, what the do you mean? Like, obviously. And he goes, well, I'm usually behind the camera and like, you know, filming. Like,
wow.
And like, I'd love to be, can I wear a white coat with you? And I was like, bro, you're like huge on the news and you're like begging me. It was so nice. And I was like, and I think I asked him a similar question too. It was just like, bro, and like, you know what I realized is like, the biggest thing that people need to realize watching this is, cool, I made $1 million, right? And I'm very blunt and open with my finances. I tell people anything. I currently have in my bank account $4,000. And what I realize is it doesn't matter how big someone is and how much money they're making. Trust me, they're spending it just as fast as they're getting it. And that means that they're willing to continue to grind. They might not answer you out of laziness, but it's not out of pride of like, oh, I'm bigger than them. That rarely happens. That only happens to the point where like Charlie D'Amelio could do it because it's literally wasting her time. She's losing money to answer you. But for me, like, bro, I'm still grinding. Like, I literally am being honest. Like, I will show my bank account. I have $4,000 left in it. And I burn my cash as quick as I can get it. Not on stupid things. Yeah, the car was not the best choice. But, like, you know, I have to pay bills.
It was a write-off.
Yeah. Well, again, and I definitely, it's a 6,000-pound vehicle, so it's got the section 179.
fully write-off,
yeah, fully write-offable in 1 year. Made a video about it. Going to post and
Chef's
use
kiss.
it for 50%.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. So and I had to buy it this year because my Snapchat money. I'm about to get taxed up the ass. But yeah. So for me, I'm like, dude, like I'm nowhere near that point. When I make around like I'd say like $5 million on top of my house being paid off. Sure, I'm not going to answer people, not out of like I'm better than them, but it's going to lose me money. Clearly at that point, I'm making so much that like I'm not trying to be a dick. If it happens, it happens. But what I realize is people add value to each other. Like for Alex, he needs content. He can't just make it up on his own every day forever. So like if you look at Alex or any vlogger out there, let's just say David Dobrik, you know, 90% of his content, 100% of the content is other people. Yeah. And so like you're that other person that can add value to me and vice versa. So like for me, I just try and connect with everyone, have conversations because I'm not anywhere, bro. Like I struggle like so hard to keep going, and I struggle to like, one, no one knows me. I'm probably I'd probably say I'm the richest, most least known TikToker on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's because like my videos have gotten viral before, but a lot of them my face isn't in it. I'm not young, so it's not like I'm having young girls or guys being like, oh my god, he's like young like us, or he's good looking like us, or he's good looking and I look up to him. I don't get any of that. So like I struggle day in and day out to keep up finances, which is why I'm like, yo, Jonathan, you want a deal? I'll get you 20%. I'll get you a deal. Or like, hey, like, I helped Sean with his show, and I helped my other friend with his show, and I'm like, hey, let me get you a show. Let me get 20%. Because that's what I'm best at. I know my downfall. I know I'm not going to be here long haul. YouTube is where I'm going to be a lot more accepted. So I'm just pivoting at any point. And I tell Sean this all the time. Sean and I, we're at the same level in terms of financing type stuff. He's outshining me on every other way, which means in the long term, he's going to make probably $50 million.
Yeah.
I have a very short runway compared to him, and that's why he's just better than me. But I'm not lucky enough to be young. I'm not lucky enough to have skills like he does.
Yeah.
I'm just self-aware, and I'm just ready to soak in as much money as I can, create dope connections so that I can last longer, and then have fun. At the end of the day, I can always go back and continue working as a mental health therapist, doing my hours and stuff. But other than that, like, I'm just trying to have fun, and it's a blast.
No,
I love this.
dude, you're I love how you said that, just because that's one of my biggest realizations. Like being in the industry now for a couple months of like, I just met Nick Antonian, right, Jonah from
Jonah.
David Dobrik's vlogs the other day, and I just remember watching this crew, and I was like, dude, they're set for life. Right, like they have the process so easy. Like they just vlog funny bits. They like vlog funny bits every once in a while. They put it on the internet. They get 20 million views. Like they're set, right? And I talked to Jonah. Like we like cameras down, everything. And I straight up, I was like, dude, like he started vlogging, and I watched him do this whole grocery store bit where he goes in the grocery store. He's a Dylan. They're trying to get ingredients, all this stuff. And I was like, he recorded maybe like an hour of footage, and he was like cracking jokes over jokes, and you could tell a little bit of it is it's definitely for the cameras, right? And I'll be honest, most of it's for the cameras.
Yeah.
And cameras down, I was just like, dude, like how'd you think how everything goes? He's like, I'll be honest with you, like this shit's hard. Like that, like out of what you just saw, maybe one or two of those jokes hits. That's 10% of a vlog, and like I need to get one out again. It's like it's no one understands this stuff. No one has their things down. Like it's really like even in the tech world, as I talk to some of these CEOs, founders too, like they're like, oh yeah, like I tell my investors like, oh, in a year, like this is where this company's gonna be. Like it'll be a $500 million company, like because we're gonna do XYZ. They're like, I don't know shit either.
Tejas,
it's like this place
it's
unprecedented.
And I know those guys. I know Jonah. I know their finances like a little bit. I talk because I'm very blunt. Again, I always ask people like, how much did you make? And we've gone on a bunch of calls and talked about it. And I just saw him 2 weeks ago. And let me tell you, like besides like a lot of those people, I know a lot of them. I'm good friends with some of them, very good friends. Most of them don't have money. It's very hard. Most of them are dead broke. Or they make money, but you have to understand it in Los Angeles, like, bro, you want to get dinner, you can't even drop less than $100. Like, and like if someone wants to go out with you and you're trying to connect with them, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do? I just had so I'm working with David Dobrik's manager now. I just had a dinner with him and
Jack.
Yeah, and he's working with me, and I guess he's managing me to some degree. And
nice.
And like I had to go to dinner, and like I paid for that dinner, half of it, because he was like, "Well, I got it." I'm like, "No, I want to." Like, but bro, because that's the way to show respect. This guy's really good at what he does, and I want to show him that like I appreciate what he's doing. But also, it costs tons of money. Like, dude, I've made almost $2 million so far total this year, and I literally have $4,000 left in my bank account. And it's not like I'm sitting. I have one car for my girlfriend. I don't even own a car.
Wow.
Like, I sold my girlfriend's car. Told her, like, hey, like, my family had a car that I was using and I still use. And now, because of the leases, they're willing to pay me to give it back because of, like, the whole COVID issue. So I was like, yo, let's sell your car because you don't really drive it. We'll use one car. We don't need to pay the insurance. And then eventually, she's been taking care of me so much because I've been so busy that I was like, let me go buy her something. So I bought her this car. And I'm giving my car back and I don't have a car.
Dude.
Tejas,
so crazy.
I want to touch on something you talked about a minute ago. You were talking about how people in the vlog squad or like big YouTubers or founders of these tech startups don't really know what they're doing. And Dominic, on the outside in to like our viewers and just me and Tejas, it seems like you're doing a lot of things right. You have really good practices. You're open with your information. You're tenacious with companies. When you want something, you ultimately get it. But just looking back over the past 23 months or so, like, what are some things that you would have done differently?
Nothing. I think when someone says I'm doing a lot of things right, I don't think that's the right answer. I think I'm doing a lot of things. And that's it. Just like life, like I've lost far more than I've won, but I've tried so many goddamn times.
Yeah, if you double down, you can't lose.
Yeah, it's like if someone tells you roll the dice, if it lands on 1, you owe me $10. If it lands on 6, I owe you $1,000, and I roll it 1,000,000 times, and someone's like, well, how do you have $1 million? Well, I've rolled the dice so many goddamn times, it's bound to happen. And so literally for everyone out there, like, just try everything. But if you're really good at something, for example, like Sean is hyper-focused because what he's doing is just so good, he doesn't need to try other things. But if you're not making it, try something new. Like, I've never gotten depressed or upset when something doesn't work out. I get pumped. What's the next thing? I'm less bored, more interested, get to be creative again. I don't get to be like, oh, what's the next step in the same video that we're doing, part 13? Hell no. I like to be like, what's something completely new that I can do?
You, Jack.
Yeah, like literally, like always new. It's fun, and like along the way you discover it. But that's what it is. You're not gonna find treasure digging in one hole. You're gonna find it digging in 1,000,000. And so,
dude,
just
I
try
love
things.
that. You didn't do things right. You just do things. That's a great way to summarize it.
Because it sounds when you say I'm doing things right, it sounds like it's premeditated. Sure,
exactly.
Once I do it right, I repeat the right thing.
Yeah.
And so, Jack, if you've got a trend that's working, like you probably do, do it until it dies. I'm just not that lucky. My shit dies far quicker than other people's. And that's why I transitioned to science, because it was far more broad and it wasn't story related, where they were like, okay, Dom, you found the safe in the backyard, but what's next? If you find another safe, it's going to seem odd. So I was like, what can I do? Let's do science. I made a video about infinity chocolate, kind of like a little like illusion, and that did I think 17 million or something like that. And then I was like, oh, this is a start to my science content now, and I've been doing science content.
So you're not
ever
just
since.
the science guy. You're just the guy who does everything. Guy,
bro. Look at my like last 20 videos. There's like 3 of them that are science.
That are science.
They're all random.
All right, so dumb me decided to book a meeting here in the middle of our podcast. So we're gonna end this short. But Dominic, we're gonna schedule a part 2 here, dude. I want to talk about your future. I want you to roast our content. I want to roast your content. The amount I've just learned from you in this past hour and whatever it was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah,
I couldn't be more grateful.
There's definitely a lot.
There really was a lot. Dude, your story is crazy.
It's definitely a long story in one
dude.
year.
Where can people reach you? What's the YouTube? What's the TikTok?
We have 5 Snapchat shows to plug right now. Better get them rolling. And like 24 YouTube channels. Let's hear it. Sit back, grab some popcorn, and listen to Dominic.
When it comes to Snapchat, you can find me at The Lab, What the Science, Dominic Reviews. I've got 2 other friends that I'm helping to produce shows. Sean Does Magic, Mason's Animals. But mostly I'm going to be focusing 100% of my time on YouTube at Dominic Andre. I'm also going to be launching a family channel. I surprised my girlfriend with a $100,000 car. She surprised me with a classic car. And I'm going to be pranking her, doing a bunch of other things. We might get engaged soon, might get married. I don't know what's happening, but a lot of stuff's definitely happening very soon. I'm 28 years old. I got to get it done. And it's content, so win-win. So if you want to see me, go check me out at Dominic Andre on YouTube.
Dude, you have 30 hours in a day while the rest of us have 24, I swear. But yo,
doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep.
Exactly. Yo,
4 a.m.
like and
every night.
subscribe, 25 months too.
Ring that notification bell.
4 a.m. every
That's
night, up
crazy.
at 8 a.m. every day.
All right, that's for part 2. If you guys enjoyed this, like it, comment. What questions do you have for Dominic? We gotta ask him. He's a specimen. He's quite the specimen. He's not just the science guy.
And comment down below what future guests you want to see on 25 months. See you guys.
There we go. Peace.